Computer. Perfect. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this morning's Power Chat. And here we're going to take 10 minutes to find out some hot tips from Carrie Creed. And Carrie and I had the opportunity to work together recently, and she has a phenomenal story. But I wanted to share with you all a little bit of her journey through this, and going on social media and just, I think it's going to empower and encourage all of you that it can be scary in the beginning, but you can do it. And so Carrie's going to take a few minutes and introduce herself, tell us first where they can find your full story, because it's amazing. And then I'm going to jump back in and ask you a couple quick questions. So take it away, Carrie.
That sounds great. Hi, everyone. As Elise so kindly introduced me, Carrie Creed, and I'm the founder of Carrie Creed Consulting, LLC. And this is a new company that I've recently started over the last few months. And as she has mentioned, there has been so many tips that I have learned from so many people that I have brought along the way into this journey, because as with any successful business, you cannot do it alone. And that was the first thing that I learned very fast.
Awesome. Okay. So Carrie, tell me, of course I follow you because I got to work with you, which has been amazing. But you share some very vulnerable aspects of your life and some painful experiences and some things that I would think would conjure up some, even some past traumatic stress, but you share them with people. And so one, can you tell women especially, like, what overrides the fear? What overrides the fear that actually gets you in front of the camera, or, even just typing out in a blog type way your story? What overrides that?
The one thing that overrides that is the chance that I would be helping just one other person. And it's really that simple. I mean, I would love to help hundreds of thousands of people, but if I can just help one person that might have been me back with my leg surgery in 2002 when I felt very alone, or one person like me when I was in the hospital for 65 days prior to delivering my daughter and had a life and death situation. So if I can just, by posting about my experience and my perseverance and the power of the positivity that I had throughout those two journeys, if I can give hope and give empowerment to a woman or a man, but typically a woman going through those challenges, then I can overcome that fear that I have about being so vulnerable.
Absolutely. Great. And what would you say, I'm sure, and I'm just guessing that this has happened to you too, that when you post something, do you ever have that feeling of like, oh, did I say too much? Or that anxiety of like, I should take it down. What was I thinking? Has that ever happened to you?
Every day. Yes. With anything you write, if you're not in person or speaking or seeing somebody's body reaction or facial expressions, you can't always read the level of sarcasm or the level of emotion. And so words can be interpreted in many different ways. And in business and life, sometimes we get in trouble with that. And so I think when you're writing a blog or you're writing a social media post, you have to be so careful of how you're phrasing certain sentences or certain emotions, because it can be interpreted incorrectly. And we see that happen in the media all the time, of news reporters or broadcasters saying the most insensitive comment when they didn't mean to say it the way it came out or the way it was interpreted. So yes, that's a huge fear of mine, but something that I push through every day, because if you just hide behind that fear and never post, you never grow and you never have the chance of helping anyone. So I reread my posts numerous times. I try to think if there's anything that I should word a little differently. Mm-hmm. And I probably reread it too many times, but then I try not to focus and I just go for it.
Yeah.
And if I do offend somebody, I can always in a comment apologize. Luckily, it hasn't happened yet. I hope it never does, knock on wood. Yeah. But I am cautious of that, but I have to just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And for the women that are like, okay, that's all good. But what would you say was like, when you finally were like, let me just do it. What would you say when you finally made that step and pushed through that, lack of confidence, or maybe just feeling like I'm about to post my life, on social media for thousands and millions potentially to see. I guess the question is, what was the what was that pivotal moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I am so glad I did this? Do you have a moment or a couple?
So I made a decision back on September 12th, 2019, to move forward with this dream. And that day is pivotal because ironically, I went to see a motivational speaker through with a group of women that I work with through my day job. And I went to see this motivational speaker, and it just happened to fall on the 18th anniversary of my leg surgery. And I sat in that room and I listened to this woman speak about a topic completely not applicable to me. But what I saw her doing is what I wanted to do. And I had always known that that's what I had wanted to do. And I had always talked about it after my leg surgery, that I would, love to share my story with others. And everyone told me to write a book. And I said, I will. But then after my pregnancy situation, and when trauma and tragedy really struck twice, and my recovery from that, I realized that I really needed to share my story, but I wasn't emotionally ready up until that day that I saw that motivational speaker. Yeah. And she gave me that courage to say, I'm done talking about it. I need to act on it. And from that day forward, that's exactly what I did. And, I took many certain steps, and some might've been in the wrong order. And I thought writing the book was the right thing to do first, and not the website and not the business. And then I pivoted, and then I realized I couldn't create my own logo. I don't have any creative expertise at all, and I couldn't build a website. So I had to reach out to people, and I started networking, and from then it just spiraled. And I had so much enthusiasm over the potential of what this could become and how I can truly make a difference. And that's what fueled me each and every day, and still does.
Awesome. Awesome. And, I just kind of throw this out there. Of course, I know you, but for those that are watching or listening, you clearly must have a ton of extra free time on your hands to pursue this, right? I mean, you must just have hours and hours on end every day. Is that the case?
No, nope, not at all. Not only do I have a very stressful, big career in the fintech space, I'm a sales executive in the payments industry. And I typically travel a lot. And obviously in this world of COVID, I'm not traveling, but I'm working remotely. And I have 2 young children, and I've now started this business. So this is definitely the most craziest time in my life, but I've decided to go for it. And what I've shown in the last 38 years is that I work better when things are crazy. I have always said that in my sales career, that when, there's months that things are slow and the days go on, I don't do well. I do well when I end up working 11 hours a day or 15 hours a day rather than 9 to 5, clocking in, clocking out. I don't know if it's time management. I don't know if the extra workload energizes me or what, but when things are tough, that's when I excel. And that's probably why I decided to do this now. And it's just so interesting how it all panned out.
Awesome. And another thing I want to say is that, Carrie has been sharing with me different stories and different things that have happened with her, from stepping out, from sharing her journey, and, even just creating this company. So was there someone that has ever reached out to you in this recent, and it's only been a couple months. I mean, what you've done in a few months is just insane, like so good. But has there anybody that reached out to you in response to something that you wrote that just really moved you or touched your heart?
Yeah. And what's fantastic is it's been almost on a daily basis. And if it's not every day, it's probably every other day. Just yesterday, I had a post about waking up from the surgery that I had when I delivered my daughter. And that was a life or death situation for me. I had placenta accreta, and I had to have a hysterectomy to deliver her because my placenta wouldn't detach. And I started hemorrhaging. And the only way to save my life would be to remove my whole uterus. And I explained that, I feel so grateful each and every day that I'm alive and I don't have any lifelong medical issues because of it. I can't have more children, but I don't have any other situations that's affecting me, and that my daughter's healthy. But I see posts of the support groups that I'm in for placenta accreta, and there's a lot of babies that don't make it. And there's even some mothers that don't make it. And those posts are so difficult to see and read. And for the first year and a half after my delivery, I couldn't, and I had to put it away. I'm now just starting to be able to engage with those moms on those sites. And I'm still a little triggered by it. But what happened the other day is I had posted about sometimes forgetting to be grateful each and every day. And that when I see those posts, it's a quick reminder and it's like a punch in the gut to say like, wow, I am so fortunate and I'm so lucky. But it also triggers me in another way. And I posted about that in a very vulnerable post like they usually are. And a woman who had been following me that I didn't previously know, who was diagnosed with placenta accreta, actually lost her baby.
Mm.
And she posted about that and posted about how she lost her baby and lost her uterus and can't have more children. And how seeing those posts about other women losing their life makes her feel grateful that she didn't, but also triggered that she lost her baby. And just saying that, I have the chills now because that was kind of the first person that I related to in that sense of how seeing those posts can give you such a variety of emotions, and how it's very difficult to explain that to other people unless you've gone through it. And so I felt like I really connected with her. And I've had similar posts regarding, the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome I have, or the chronic illness with chronic pain. And I just feel like these people are now my tribe, and I'm relating to them and they're relating to me. And that support system is what it's all about. And that's what fulfills me each day, to know that I'm starting to make an impact and make a difference. And it makes me feel really proud.
That's awesome. Awesome. And I know women need to know that, right? They need to know that you're going to be scared, right? You're going to have those feelings of anxiety. Like we said, like, oh my gosh, what did I just post? What did I just say? I'm going to take it down. Like I've had shower moments where I'm like in the shower and I'm like, I got to dry off real quick and you take it down. That's too much. And I always say, like, we're in control, right? We are in control of what we post, what we say. No one is forcing us to do this. But just stay on that path, because it is stories like that. And whether they have a completely relatable situation or not, someone is going to admire that you took the courage, right? You and anyone watching, you took the courage to do it, and you're going to give someone else the power to use their voice. And I think, especially in a time like this, women are even more lonely than we've ever been. We're not connecting. We're not seeing in person. We don't know when those things are going to happen. You can do this now, and this is a perfect time. So I really admire you, Carrie. I am just so impressed by your growth. You've empowered me to continue to use my voice and continue to even heal. That's a scary thing, to start the healing process. And I remember, having a conversation with you early on, and you had mentioned, therapy and counseling. And that seems still so taboo in 2020. But I think it's important. So could you just share really quickly, like, even the power of, getting healing from things that happen?
Yeah. I feel like talking about it to others, if it's your therapist, I now truly believe in therapy. I probably didn't in my early 20s. After my second experience and needing to be put in, some one-on-one counseling on a weekly basis, and then working through the PTSD that I was diagnosed with, truly showed me what therapy can do. Because, through some pretty innovative EMDR therapy, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and being able to heal the trauma that went on in my brain, I saw what that was able to do and how it changed me and how it brought Carrie back. And Carrie left for a long time, and I'm back and in a better way than I ever was. And I now know the power of that. And it's not power. It's not what your therapist does for you. It's what you do for yourself in therapy. And I never really understood that. And my therapist tried to say, like, every time I thanked her for everything she did for me, she said, you did the work. You did the work. And I now see that. And so I think it's talking to others. It could be a therapist. It could be your friends. It could be finding your tribe. It could be being on support groups on social media and finding the people that relate to you. If that's through a medical condition, if that's an entrepreneurial site of like, how do I start my own business? Help me. And that's your tribe. Whatever you need assistance in or guidance in, find that group and latch on and get energy from others. That's probably my biggest advice with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. And I'm so glad you continue to educate people on that, educate women on that, because, we're going to need it, and we're going to need it for a long time coming. through some of the things that have happened, in relation to COVID. So thank you for taking time. I know you have a powerful schedule, a full schedule, right? And it's great. So where can people find you and hear your whole story?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can check out my website. It's carriecreed.com. There you'll see a couple videos. I have a ton of great pictures and a whole video documentary of my leg surgery as well, which is pretty fascinating. So I'd love for you to check that out. You can also follow my journey on Facebook and Instagram at Carrie Creed Speaker. And I'd love for you to check that out. I'm always posting daily different perseverance and positivity and ways out for your and daily challenge. So I'm always out to help anyone that needs a little bit of inspiration and empowerment. And I hope I can do that for each of you today.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. Ladies, go to Carrie's website, go to her Facebook page. I know you will be empowered. You will enjoy her story. And of course, she is available to speak on your podcast, to share her story. And she will just bring so much energy and just hope to your listeners. So have a great day, Carrie. Thanks for taking the time. And we look forward to connecting with everybody at our next happy hour. Have a great
Thank you so much.
day.